guys, my name is Becca. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a recently read and currently reading video for July. So you guys have probably noticed I didn't do any for June, and I still haven't put up my wrap up for June because I have a lot of books to talk about and I didn't talk about any of them in the month of June. And it's just a very intimidating video to make. I don't know how I'm going to make it where it's not super long. I don't know if I'm going to have to split it into two parts or, do what I can. I have no ideas, but I keep putting it off, and I'm going to have to make that soon. So in order to not go through what I'm going through now at the end of this month, I'm going to continue to make my recently read and currently reading videos, because I'm not going to go through this again. So, I completed 4 books this week, and I'm like 3/4 of the way through another book, and I have just started another book. So, let's get to talking about those. We'll start with the novellas that I read. So really, I didn't finish 4 books technically, but I finished 4 things, okay? That's better. So the first one we're going to talk about is Shadow of the Moon by Shirley Kenyon. It is a short story following Fury. It's in this bind-up, Dark Bites. I have been slowly getting through all of the novellas because I'm trying to read the main novels as well as the novellas, so it makes sense. And yeah, I read Shadow of the Moon. It's Fury's story. Fury is Vane's brother, which Night Play is one of my favorite books in the Dark Hunter series. I say this for a lot of them, but Night Play is definitely one of my absolute favorites, and I love Vane. That's Vane's story. Vane is my favorite. So this is Fury's story, and I love Fury. I thought Fury was great, and I always wanted to see him get his own story, and I was really upset that I could never find one for him until, I finally picked up this and realized he has his own story. It's just short, which I'm not the happiest with. I wanted Fury to have his own full-length novel because I feel like he deserves it as well, better than just being a side character in all the other books. But it's fine. At least he has a story. I am happy he got a love interest. It's sort of enemies to lovers. They used to be friends, but then she betrayed him, and now they're working through things. That's really all I can say. It doesn't really have anything to do with the plot. There's a little plot. Nothing I really cared about as much. I thought the relationship was okay. I just wanted more. That was my major problem. I just wanted more. I gave it a 3.5 star. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite short story. But I'm really glad to see that Fury got one, even though I wish he had a full-length novel. Alright, and then the other novellas I read were in The Ghost of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, Maureen Johnson, Kelly Link, and Robin Rosterman as well. And I reread The Land I Lost, which is the Alec novella. I reread that one because it's my favorite. Obviously 5 out of 5 stars. Alex in Buenos Aires helping out Jem and Tessa. All you need to know. There's a bunch of Malik references because it's my baby, and I love it. And then the other 2 that I read, because the first 8 were released e-copy, so I read those digitally, but then the last 2 novellas were released only for the print copy, and those were The Lost World and Forever Fallen. Those take place after Queen of Air and Darkness, so there's a bunch of spoilers, so I can't tell you what they're about. I guess I can tell you that one follows Ty, kind of, and the other one follows... I can't really tell you. I can't. But yeah. They're set after Queen of Air and Darkness, though, and the last one, Forever Fallen, really, bridges the gap to the Wicked Powers. It shows you what's probably going to be happening in the Wicked Powers trilogy or series, whatever that's going to be. when that happens. So, because if you didn't know, Cassie Clare is making 2 more trilogies. We had The Last Hours, which is going to follow the children from the Infernal Devices. So it takes place after Infernal Devices, following all the children. And then there's The Wicked Powers, which follows after the Dark Artifices, which is Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, Queen of Air and Darkness. It'll follow after that. Like, you know, everything that happened at the end of that. So, yeah. See, I can't really talk about what these are about at all. I did get some of my characters. I got a little bit of Magnus. I got a little bit of Malik. I was kind of happy there. That was pretty much it. Other than the ones I can't tell you about. I gave the Lost World, right? Yeah, I gave the Lost World like a 3 star. It just wasn't like, it was okay. Really didn't do anything for me. I understand that it is trying to give you more context for what's going to happen in The Wicked Powers, but I was just like, it's okay. And then Forever Fallen, which is the one that like really gives you like context what's going to happen in The Wicked Powers, I would give 4 stars. I liked that one a little bit more. It had more dark and light contrast. It was definitely, it was like really, really great. What the hell is happening? Really, really great. What? It's just, yeah, like, it was really good. 4 stars. Overall, I would probably give, I don't know, like, overall I want to give this 4 stars. But there were some, like, that I remember not liking as much. Like, as much as I liked. Like, my favorite, obviously, was The Land I Lost. I want to say Through Blood Through Fire was okay. Was it Deeper? See, I don't remember a lot of these. I know that Son of the Dawn was pretty good, which is, like, Jace's prequel. You know, you get to learn more of how Jace met the Lightwoods, which I really liked. That's the only one I can really remember. I think A Deeper Love is learning more about... Yeah, I think I know that one. I didn't like that one as much. I was kind of upset through that one. Yeah, I mean... It's like a 3.5, 4 star. Do I round it up to a 4? Or is it more like a 3.5? I don't know. I just want to say 4 because I've given, I think, all of the novella bind-ups 4 stars. But in this one, I feel like I didn't like... There were more in here that I didn't like compared to the other. Well, no, the Bane Chronicles was just awful. I love Magnus. I love Magnus to death, but the Bane Chronicles was not great. 3.5. I'm just gonna say it. 3.5. There were some I really, really enjoyed. There's, of course, my favorite one. My favorite novella out of all of them. But I just don't feel like this was a 4 star. Man, I'm having trouble. You know what? 4 stars. We're gonna just go 4 stars. Because, I mean, every time I'm like, oh, there's more in here I didn't like. I'm like, but I liked... Okay, let's see. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd say I liked 6 or 7 out of the 10. So yeah, we'll just go 4 stars. Okay, that's over with, finally. Next up, finally, the full name novels. I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I reread this. Technically, I reread both of the other ones, but yeah. I reread Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover because I was just in the mood for Colleen Hoover. And it's my birthday month, and I just wanted to fill it with things that I really loved. So I wanted some rereads in there because I love, you know, I love to reread. And I really love coming back to books, especially if I don't remember a lot of what happened. This follows Tate, who's moving in with her brother, who's a pilot. And she meets the next door neighbor, who's also a pilot. And her brother's friend, Miles. And it's their romance. And how Miles went through a really tragic tragic past, and he at first doesn't really want to be with Tate. He wants to try and, like, you know, push her away, even though he is feeling something for her. Also the fact that she's his friend's sister, and the brother made, the brother doesn't really want her to be with anybody. How should I say this? So it's them, like, well, it's Miles, like, trying to push her away, and then, like, okay, you know what, screw this, let's just be together. So this one is, what I really like about this book is that it takes place in in the present day of this book. I don't know when it was, I don't know, 2014. So it takes place, like, you know, in, like, present time, and then so we get one chapter present time, and then the next chapter is 6 years earlier, and you learn more about Miles's past in the past. Like, you learn more about it through backstory, and I really like that, and I really love this book, and I give it 5 stars. And every time, like, I look at this book, I'm just so heartbroken, because it was supposed to be made into a movie, and then it wasn't. It was canceled, and I was really, really upset. But yeah. Alright, and the last book that I completed, which was another reread, and that is Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. This is the first book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and this is Rath's story. Rath is the Blind King. He is a blind vampire. Okay. The Black Dagger Brotherhood is an elite race of, it's like a brotherhood of elite vampires, like the strongest and the best vampires, the ones who can protect all the rest of them, and they fight what are known as the Lessers, which are humans, but what was it again? I can't remember. They're not exactly vampires. They're lesser. I have no idea. I don't remember exactly what they are. I want to say they're human, but they're more than human, but they're not vampires. You know what? Like, vampires are born, not made. Lessers, I think, are lessers are made. Right? So, I don't remember exactly what they are. But yeah, we follow Rath, who is my blind vampire, my blind king. I love him. And he is the leader of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and one of the members of his brotherhood, his brother Darius, begs him to watch out for his daughter, Beth. Beth is half vampire, half human, though she has no clue who her parents are. She grew up in an orphanage, and she has no idea who her parents are or what her father was, what her father is. And Darius knows that she's going to go through the transition very soon, and is begging Rath to watch over her and to help her through it, so she has a better chance of survival. And Rath just denies that. He wants nothing to do with it, and then Darius dies. And Rath is like, well, great. Now I feel like I owe him to do it. Okay, sure. I guess I'll watch over. And it's just Beth and Rath's story, and I love it so much. I gave this 5 stars. So amazing. I love this book so much. Oh man, okay. So now we can talk about the books that I'm currently reading. The first one is The Bone Witch by Rin Shepeko. I finally picked this up. I feel like, I know I've only had it for a couple of months, but I feel like it's been a while, and I've been wanting to pick it up for a long time, because I loved Reign of the Fallen by Sarah Glenn Marsh, and that was a book about necromancy, and The Bone Witch is a book about necromancy, and I'm like, I'm gonna love this book. First off, gorgeous fucking cover, like, ever. I love this cover so much. I can't, like, I just want to get the Heart Forger just because of the cover, like, so badly. So, okay, this one's gonna be really hard to describe. So this is a book about necromancy. We follow Taya, who at her brother's funeral raises her brother from the dead. Showing everybody that she's a bone witch. And it's the first time this ever happened. Like, she didn't think she had any power. I don't think like your magic really comes out. Like, it doesn't exactly rise up until later, but for some reason she was able to bring her brother back really quick. Her brother is also her best friend, so like, she was devastated when he died, and that could have, led to it. I don't know. So pretty much she's a bone witch. They're not looked greatly upon. They're looked down on, and she is taken by another bone witch to train, to learn more about her powers, and to like become an Asha, which is like the magic wielders, but like you have to train and you have to like, I don't know. Like, you actually have to become, and not like, just because you have magic doesn't mean you can become an Asha. You have to like really train and show off your magic to be able to. Can you tell that I've read this much? Because I can't. Like, this one's just really hard to describe. Bone witches are dark Asha, so she really has to like learn everything. And there's also like these monsters which are Daiva, and to me Daiva is Jinn, but I don't think they are in this. I don't know, they could be, but they don't really show off the Daiva as much. They talk about them a lot. You get to see a little bit of it, but not as much. So the Daiva are these like really elite race of monsters that have like, I think it was 6 out of 7 that were taken out. There's 7 Daiva, and 6 out of 7 were taken out. They were like put in the ground, and then like every so many years a Daiva will resurrect, and you don't want him to come to full power. Like, they resurrect after so many years. But the Dark Asha, it's their job to resurrect them like a week before, so they're still weaker than they would be, and to like take the source of their power and put them back in the ground. Like, the source of their power rebuilds over time. That's how I see this. Okay? I know I'm not the greatest at like talking about this, but this is hard to describe. There's a whole like a war going on. Daiva is, only some of the monsters they have to face. I don't really know much because we don't really get focused on the war. We're focused on the training in this, which I have to say isn't the most entertaining. Like, I get bored so often in this book. There are times I'm really enjoying it, and then there are times I'm just bored to tears. I do love the sibling bond between her and Fox, the brother that she brought back to life. He is her familiar now because, she brought him back. And I love their sibling bond. I really do. There is some sort of romance, though you don't get much of it in this book. So I don't know. I'm 278 pages in out of like 405 or something like that. So I literally only have like 125 pages left to go. And I'm not loving it. I think it's okay. I think it's alright. But I'm not loving it. Like, a part of me is just like, wow, why haven't I DNF'd this yet? But then another part of me is like, okay, this isn't bad. Like, part of me wants to DNF it because I'm just like bored, but the other part of me is like, it's kind of good. Like, we do get moments where it's kind of good, but I'm sick and tired of like, going through all of her training, and I just want to get to the action, which is funny because in some books I'm like, okay, it's too much action. Like, I want more like backstory and I want more character driven things instead of like plot driven things. But in this one, I need something to happen. I need something to happen now. And every time like a little thing happens, I'm like, okay, That's it. Alright. Okay. Now we're back to the boring stuff. That's great. The what I really do love about this book, though, is that it's taking place in dual time. So you have the past where you're learning everything about Taya, and then you have like the present moments where she's reciting her story, and it's like years later. I don't know how long it's been, but like, yeah, you'll get little chapters or like little scenes where she's in present time reciting what happened. So like the past moments are her story and her reciting it, and then in the future or in the present moments you're talking to the person she's reciting it to, and you're following that person. So it's good. I do like, because it's a lot, that aspect of it, like the present and then like them reciting the story to, so it's the past. That's like Name of the Wind-esque, which I love. I love that Name of the Wind did it amazingly. This is okay, but I'm finding like, yeah, I want more of her past, but I'm like bored to death with her past. Like, when you go back to the present, I'm like, okay, like, alright, let's go back to, the story, but I'm like, can something actually happen now? Because I'm bored to death. And I really, really want something to just happen. So far, this is looking at like a 3 to a 3.5 star. I don't know. Is something going to happen in the last 100 pages? I don't know. Hopefully it does. Okay, so the other book that I'm reading, I just started yesterday, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I started this because Fake Rate's doing a read-along. I think it's Berry Book Pages. I think that's the name of it, on Instagram, doing a read-along for Red Rising, and I think it's like 2 chapters a day, which is nothing. So I'm on chapter 5. So I finished my chapters for yesterday and today. I'm good. And then like tomorrow's chapters will put me into part 2. Right? Yeah. Tomorrow's chapters will put me into part 2. And I'll be 50 pages in. So I'm not really reading this, like I'm reading this every day. Like, I'm only reading 2 chapters. I'm not reading like so much of it. Like this, I'm reading as much as I can. But to be honest, once I get 50 pages in, I'm like bored to death and I just want to put it down. So this is just like a nice little break. Though, to be honest, I'm not loving it. I'm 5 chapters in and I'm just like not loving it. So I'm just gonna read what the back is. It said, his wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. So I know there's a color system. We have the reds, which are like the lowest of the low, and then we have the golds, which I think are the highest. Darrow, our main character, is a red. He is a slave. And that's really all like we're introduced to. We are introduced to his wife. Everybody starts out really young, like I don't know, I think men are supposed to get married really at 16, women are 14 or something, but, yeah, I don't know. Darrow, like, we've met Darrow's family, his wife, Io, which, I have to say, I thought I was really gonna love her, and I fucking hate her. Because the Reds are lowest to low, they're the slaves, she feels like Darrow should rebel, build an army of his people and rise up and rebel against everybody else, like against the Golds and stuff, and he's just like, no, I'm going to die if I do that. I just want to stay here, live with you, and, at least I have a semblance of happiness. I would rather not lose everything to rebel. Like, he doesn't want to rebel, but she wants to force him to rebel, and it's pissing me off. And I know his wife gets taken, his people get enslaved, and he, starts to rebel. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, this bitch just forced him to do it. And I have a feeling I know what she's gonna do. She's really gonna force him to do it. And I just want to beat her to death for it. Like, man, why? Why? So, I'm not loving this. I think it's okay. Again, great. I need something to love, okay? So, I'm gonna pick up, I think tonight, I'm gonna pick up A Spy in the House by Y.S. Lee, which is the first book in the Agency quartet. This is only like 300 and something pages, and it's pretty big font. I should just be able to fly through this. And it's a reread. I've read books 1 through 3. I've never read the 4th book, Rivals in the City. But I'm hoping that, because it's been a long time since I've read it, I'm hoping I'm going to love it again, and this should be really quick and easy and fun read while I have the, these that I'm not loving. Okay? So, I'm hoping to pick this one up very soon. Also, there's another read-along coming up with Bay Crate. So there's Fay Crate, which is like the fantasy sci-fi box, and then there's Bay Crate. Like, they're the bookish subscription company, and then there's Bay Crate, which is the romance box subscription company, and Bay Crate on the 14th is doing Angel's Blood by Nalini Singh. Nalini Singh. I think that's how you say it. So I've ordered my book for that. That should be coming. I really do want to read that as well. I'm really looking forward to that one. Hopefully I will love that one. But yeah, that is it for me today. So I have a feeling I'm going to finish this by tomorrow. This, obviously, I'm just going to be reading a couple of days, so I'm not going to finish this until, like, towards the end of the month, which is fine. I'm hoping, I could get through this pretty quick, maybe finish this tomorrow too, and start some more books. To be honest, my July, very, very ambitious July TBR is not going the greatest. I've only completed 4 out of, the 18 that I set aside. And I only have a couple more weeks because the last week of July is the Reading Rush, formerly known as Booktubeathon. And I have a set TBR for that, which should be coming up soon. I will be posting that, I think, within the next week or so. Oh man. So, I don't think I'm going to get to all of my TBR books, which I kind of mentioned that I didn't think I was going to get to anyway. I might have done it if I had a full month, but to be honest, I don't, and I don't think I really want to get to all of them. I'm not going to force myself to do it. So I'm already looking into, incorporating them into my August TBR. August is the Newts, readathon. That's a full-length, or a full-month readathon hosted by G over at Book Roast. I did my Owls in April, and Newts is coming up next month. So I need to incorporate books for that, so I might just take some from my July TBR and put them into those, which will be fine. I'll get to as many of them as I can get to. But because I keep adding more books to my TBR, I don't know how many I'm going to get to. Again, it's fine. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again with another. Bye! Happy reading!